All right. Let me. Okay, there's the participants. Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's nice to see everyone starting to roll in here. My name's Andrew Golding, and I'm the Director of Junior Programs for ILSC. Today, we're going to talk about our ILSC High School program. This is our 101 introduction session. I'm just going to allow about another minute here for people to come in, and then we'll get started here shortly. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, as it is 5:01, I will get started. I imagine we'll have a few more people joining throughout, so I'm going to get started with a brief introduction to ILSC Education Group. I imagine most of you are familiar, but we'll start there. The program that we're going to be talking about today is our ILSC High School program. This program is done in collaboration with our partners at TVO ILC, and I've got a couple of members of the TVO ILC team who are going to be joining us today. I'll be introducing them in just a second, just to allow a little bit more time for some individuals to come in, but we will proceed. So of course, this is the ILSC High School program is a collaboration between ILSC and TVO ILC. This is our agenda for today. So I'm going to start with a brief introduction to ILSC. Again, I know most of you are familiar, and then I'm going to throw it over to our partners at TVO ILC. For an introduction on their side. Then we're going to get into the introduction of the ILSC High School program. We're going to talk about the aims of the program and the components of the program. Finally, we'll move into course offerings, talk a little bit about the application process, and move to a question and answer period today. So one thing I wanted to set up is that if you have any questions throughout the course of the webinar today, we recommend that you do write those questions into the chat box. Then we'll be tracking those questions. We'll make sure to address them at the end of the webinar during our Q&A session. If you feel more comfortable, you can always just let us know at the Q&A session if you have a question, and I'll be able to unmute you and you can speak as well during that point. Just inform us through the Q&A box. So we're going to get into it with our welcome to ILSC. So for most of you would know us, we are actually celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. We started in Vancouver in 1991, and this is where I am based. We are a world leader in language education and vocational training. We have campuses in Canada, Australia, New Delhi. This might be a new piece for many of you. We have opened our very first satellite campus at ILSC Seoul in South Korea. This is a campus that focuses predominantly on our university pathway programs, supporting our students in market before they transition to their university pathway campus, either in Canada or Australia. So that's us. That's welcome to ILSC. One more time, this program, the ILSC High School program, is a collaboration between ILSC and our partners at TVO ILC. We will frequently say this product is powered by TVO ILC. So I wanted to take this time to tell you all about TVO ILC, and we're very fortunate to be supported here by a couple of our partners from TVO ILC. They will be doing the introduction here. So first, a quick introduction to Roger Ramlal Singh. Roger is the General Manager of TVO ILC and Business Development. And of course, we have Ivan Wu. Ivan Wu is the Manager of Partnership and Business Development. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. Please, if I can turn it over to you and we'll go through the introduction to TVO ILC.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And I'd like to thank the ILSC team for inviting us to participate in today's conversation. And on behalf of TVO ILC, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of today's participants. As was introduced, my name is Roger Ramlassing, and I am the General Manager for TVO ILC. And today I'm here to share a bit more about TVO ILC with you. So I think one of the things that's really important to stress early on is that we are a legacy academic institution. The ILC, or the Independent Learning Center, has been in operation for more than 90 years in the distance and now digital delivery education space. We are the Ontario Ministry of Education's designated partner for distance learning. What does that mean? That if you're a student of the province of Ontario and you require a digital delivery of your course or an alternative to a bricks and mortar school, we are the go-to mandated source. That's where you're directed to. It's really important to know that we are not an inspected private school. We are actually a recognized school board by the provincial government of Ontario. So each year we deliver tens of thousands of courses to students across the province and around the world. This year alone, we delivered more than 35,000 courses to 20,000 students from more than 35 countries around the world. In fact, we are Canada's largest online high school. Our in-house digital learning team is made up of more than 200 Ontario certified teachers whose role is primarily to develop and deliver the Ontario secondary school curriculum to our students. And now, through our partnership with ILSC, we are pleased to offer our industry-leading curriculum to you. Andrew?
That's great. Awesome. Roger, thank you so much. So we will kind of continue right along here. So now we're going to get into introducing the ILSC High School program. So the ILSC High School program, there's two main components to this program. It combines the ILSC academic skills courses with the high school credit bearing content from TVO ILC. The program allows, so what this allows our students to achieve is quite unique. This partnership has opened up a lot of doors for us and for the way that we support our students and for the way that you can support your students. So first, students can now earn, while they're developing their academic language skills, they can earn high school credits at the same time. This allows students to earn the prerequisite credits they need for their secondary or post-secondary institution. Throughout the presentation, we'll talk about some student profiles. This collaborative product, this ILSC High School program, will reach a broad range of students in achieving their secondary and post-secondary goals. This ILSC High School program offering is very flexible. So we're going to be covering a lot of ground today rather quickly through the webinar. So we'll make the most of the time that you've spent with us today. I'll make sure to share some resources in the chat box as well as we move along to make sure that you know where to grab additional information. But these are flexible offerings. So we come to the student can access this program where it is most convenient for them. So of course, the students can take the program at ILSC Canada. They can go to ILSC New Delhi, which I'll cover in a minute. And also these courses are online, which is important to consider. Of course, the landscape has changed. Students are looking to access programs in a new way. And this is a great way for students to continue their pathway programs from home if that's what's going to be comfortable for them. So that's an option when we look at the ILSC high school programs and the delivery methods that we'll talk about here in a minute.
Andrew, my apologies.
Yeah, please.
I may not be seeing this. I'm having technical difficulty with the screen share, so I'm not sure everyone's seeing the presentation.
I have a feeling that you are not having technical difficulties. Give me just a quick second here. I may have not moved to the share screen, and I hope that we have that corrected here in just a minute. Thanks so much for that, Roger. And we are going to share that now. I'm assuming you can see that now. That's coming. Oh, sorry, I hit this button. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Can you see it now?
We can. Thank you, sir.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Great. I'm just going to skip back a little bit here. and we will continue to proceed from the ILSC High School Program General Introduction. And now we're going to look at some of the components of the course. The very first is the ILSC English for Academic Purposes. So this is the language component that your student would take in the morning, that a student would take in the morning. And we wanted to just take a minute here to remind you of the components of the kind of the aim of the English for Academic Purposes course. This is not just a general English, like a communication skills English. This is an academic purposes English. For those of you who may be familiar with our ILSC course offerings, this is the course that is included with our university pathway program. So this is the curriculum that was specifically developed for pathways to support our students. This curriculum includes focus on academic essay writing, referencing, citations, critical thinking, lecture comprehension, and academic discussion. So it is an academic course. It is, of course, it's going to support them in the language that they require in developing those skills, but also at the same time, concurrently, it's supporting them in the academic skills that they're going to need in their secondary or their post-secondary environment. So that's the language course component that takes place in the morning for these students. And now we're going to take a look at the TVO credit course content. Again, I'll throw it over to Roger here. Oh, Roger, I'm so sorry. I think we have you on mute.
Paul, you think after a year, I would have mastered the mute button. Apologies. So what I was saying was that our ILC course content is fully digital. It's engaging and it's interactive curriculum. So it's not your traditional, look at a textbook. It's very engaging for our students. Our course catalog is made up of more than 140 courses that meet all of the Canadian post-secondary pathway requirements, all of which are supported by our in-house team of Ontario certified teachers. At TVO ILC, we are teaching students how to learn digitally, how to be prepared for their career in the 21st century workplace. As such, our curriculum is designed and developed to support the transferable skills required to be successful. We focus on critical thinking and problem solving, innovation and creativity, self-directed learning, collaboration, communication, global competence, and last but most importantly, technological fluency. At TVO ILC and with our partner ILSC, the success of students is our goal. Our program has been built with a team of hundreds of Ontario certified teachers who are there to support the student from the first day of the course right through to course completion. We are very much looking forward to working with all of your students to support them on their academic journey.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Roger. I just wanted to tell the attendees that this is the first link that I'll be dropping in the chat box. For the TVO credit course content, students access using the TVO portal. There is a video that the marketing team has created to capture the student experience, and they really have done a great job to give a sense of how the student interacts with the content using the TVO portal in just 2 minutes. So I will be sharing that resource here now in the chat, and I strongly encourage, if you have some time, to take a look to get familiar with that student experience video. Great. The student will access the credit course content using the TVO portal. The content is self-directed, but in no way is the experience, during the experience is the student alone. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. There's an important person in this process, and that is the Ilsc Facilitator. The Ilsc Facilitator supports the student in an administrative way. The student is still responsible for their success in the course. always important and always true. With any course, the student is responsible for their progress and their success in that course, but they are supported in that process, in that journey. The facilitator here at ILSC will take an administrative role, and their main focus is creating a course completion plan. This course completion plan will keep the student on track. It'll detail the academic assessments and a timeline for completion to ensure that the student is on track. As I mentioned, the course is available online as well as in school. So the facilitator, the role in the way in which they interact with the facilitator changes slightly. Online, the facilitator is available through through a Zoom platform, through standing kind of office hours, as well as a dedicated one-on-one meeting each week to review the progress of the student through their course or courses. And in the in-school model, the facilitator is physically present in the class with the student during their afternoon TVO assigned time. The facilitator is not alone in supporting the student, of course. The TVO team has an incredible team of Ontario certified teachers that are the subject matter experts that are available to support the student in their journey. And the student is able to access kind of the knowledge from that teacher base, and the facilitator again facilitates and supports that as the student works their way through the course. Great. So we're going to look at the specific course offerings. I am screen share. Okay. We're going to look at the specific course offerings here for the ILSC high school programs. I'm just going to take a quick second. Once again, I'm going to be moving rather quickly through the different programs that are available, through the different course offerings that are available. I'm just going to share within the text box. Here we are. This is the landing page for our ILSC high school program page. Some of the resources that you'll see me look at, schedules, program inclusions, all of these are accessible through the website. So I do recommend taking some time after this to, if there's a particular program that you're looking for more information on, you can access the information there. Also, at the end of the webinar, you will be receiving an email with a link to the PowerPoint presentation. So you'll have access to this presentation as well as to my email. If you have any questions, if you would like more information on a specific course or program or more details, you can contact me anytime. So again, that will be shared following the webinar presentation today. So the course offerings, under the umbrella of the ILSC high school programs, we have 3 course offerings that we're going to be talking about today. The first is an individual credit course offering. This is a sort of base model that combines the language study with a single credit course and takes place over an 8-week period. So 2 sessions in ILSC Speak. And that is the first course offering, the individual credit. Then we get into our package course offerings. These are longer term study. The very first one here is a fast track to higher education. This package includes, it's a 32-week or 8 sessions in Canada or online. This includes the language study in the morning and then 6 key credits. This is available to students who have graduated high school in their home country and is perfect for students who are focusing on their post-secondary education goals, whether it be college, university, TAFE. The fast track, the credits earned through the fast track can help them achieve those goals. And finally, we have the ILSC High School Program Foundation Year. This is a unique offering that is available to students who are in their final year of high school in their home country. This is a sort of diploma pathway that is now available through our courses. So again, all of these offerings allow students to achieve their post-secondary goals in a new way. And it of course complements some of our existing courses, our university pathway courses, and we'll talk about that interaction a little bit later on. Now we're going to look at the first course offering of, before we get into the first course offering, again, 3 course offerings, we'll talk about delivery method. So each of these course offerings are available in 3 different ways. So the very first one is, of course, online, as I mentioned before. With the changing landscape, this has been a really common way for students to be interacting with courses in general. So now students are able to advance their language skills while earning credits at the same time. For our clients, students are two time zones are available. So students can access the course in our Canadian Eastern, but also our Australian Standard Eastern Time, kind of through our Brisbane campus manages our online courses there. So available, all of the courses that I've outlined under the umbrella of ILSC High School program are available online in both time zones. So Canadian Eastern and Australian Eastern Standard Time. Of course, they're available in school in Canada at our campuses in Toronto and ILSC Vancouver, and finally in school at ILSC New Delhi. So all of our courses are available. All three of those courses are available in those three delivery methods for maximum flexibility and accessibility for students. The individual high school credit program. So the course aim here is for students to develop their academic skills, their language skills at the same time through the EAP, the English for Academic Purposes course, combining it with credit bearing courses. So students can select the course that is going to complement their journey, their secondary or post-secondary journey, and that becomes part of the individual high school credit program option. There are two main profiles that we're seeing, or two profiles that I'll highlight here today with the individual credit program. Of course, there's possibility for a broad range of other student profiles, but two main ones that we're encountering. The first is a student who is college bound. They are looking at a college and potentially either a university pathway partner or a non-partner institution. They've selected a college institution. As you know, our university pathway programs allow students to meet the language requirements for those institutions. But those institutions, of course, will have additional prerequisites. A really common one is a math credit. So now students can, while attending the English for Academic Purposes course, meet language requirements while earning additional requirements. Again, they can get that math credit while developing their language, meeting that English language level requirement, and also earning that math credit along the way. So that's been a really common profile for students. Another popular way for students to access this course is high school students who are either considering enrollment or targeting enrollment into a Canadian high school while developing their language skills through our ESL High School Bridge course that's offered in school only. The ESL High School Bridge course is currently available only in school in ILSC Toronto and ILSC Vancouver. So a student targeting, let's say they have a September or January intake in a public school, they can be developing their language skills while earning those credits for when they to kind of buff up their transcript as they enter into that school. And some of our younger students, our high school age students, are just looking for that experience and that credit to have on their transcript. So those are some of the profiles we see with the individual high school credit program. The program length is 8 weeks, both online and in our Canadian schools. We do offer it in New Delhi in both an 8-week and a 12-week schedule. Program requirements, the student must be 16 years of age or older for online options, as well as options in New Delhi. Students who are 12 to 15 are available, do have some options available in our sessions 5 through 9 in school in our Canadian campuses. So that's Vancouver and Toronto. Completion of the PROLA is required because, of course, as you can imagine, the credit course content it is a high school course, and it does have that kind of level of difficulty. So a level of language proficiency is required. So the entry language level is our intermediate 3 or I3 level. As far as session start dates for this program, any first Monday of the session. So for ILSC, that's 13 times per year. We have start dates intake for the individual high school credit program. We'll look quickly at some schedules. So the schedules for additional programs will be available on the website. There are fact sheets for all of those programs that include full program details, prices, intake details, and of course the schedules and program inclusions. But we'll take a look just at a few here, just because these schedules will apply to all programs. Of course, there's slightly different timetables throughout the day, but a similar type of approach. So for example, as I mentioned, all of our programs are available online, and they're available in 2 time zones, so Canadian Eastern and Australian Eastern Standard Time here, as you can see. As we're looking at the online schedule, we've got the scheduled time for the ILSC English for Academic Purposes course. For the online courses, the students would join their teacher online in a session like this. For the TVO credit content, again, that content is self-directed and online using the TVO portal. The time for the online schedule, so you see here in the, we'll use the Australian Eastern Standard Time here as a sample. You can see that the student is directed to study from 4 to 6:45 each day, Monday to Friday, in the self-directed TVO course, self-directed study time. This is flexible, but we do encourage students to start with the schedule. And of course, we indicate here that a minimum of 14 hours of study time per week is required for that completion to stay on target for that 8-week completion time. Next, we've got our in-school schedule. So we're still looking at the credit program. Another thing I'll highlight here, as you may have noticed on the last screen, there is a tuition option here. So students can choose either the part-time or full-time. If a student is looking or considering a partner institution and is interested in our seamless entry, that means meeting the language requirement of that institution, of that partner institution, we do recommend a full-time schedule for the individual credit course. So you'll see here, they've got the elective and then their afternoon study block. For this model, again, because the student will be studying at an ILSC campus, even within the self-directed study block, for this model, the facilitator is in the classroom with them, again, playing that administrative function and ensuring that the student is staying within the timeline that they had set. I'm going to move on here to our next course available under the ILSC High School Program umbrella. That's the Fast Track to Higher Education. Gentlemen, please feel free if there's anything you'd like to add. Nothing so far.
No, you've done a great job, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I see no questions at this point. So I will take a second here. I know there's a lot of information that we're providing here. Any questions you have at all, feel free to enter into that chat box as we proceed, and then we'll make sure to cover those at the end of the session. And I'll move in here into our next course. This is the Fast Track to Higher Education program. As a reminder, this is now a longer term study. We're looking at 8 sessions. The student must have graduated high school in their home country, and they will be earning 6 credits. So again, the course aim, this is to develop their academic skills and earn that suite of credits. So they're earning 6 credits while they're studying. The profile for this, so we have 2 profiles that I'll highlight associated with the Fast Track to Higher Education. The first profile would be a student who is looking at they're college bound. In addition, when they're looking at the application and admissions process, their transcript overall may be a little weak and they need multiple credits. They need to kind of boost up, improve their transcript as they look into the application and admission process at that college. So this student might need a little bit of work on their transcript. So they could take a suite of courses through the Fast Track to Higher Education program in order to improve overall their transcript as they move to admission. Another profile is a student who is ambitiously targeting, let's say, a university bachelor's program, potentially in engineering, mathematics, nursing. Those institutions will typically have a list of required prerequisite courses that are a requirement as part of the application and admissions process. So taking the Fast Track to Higher Education program is a convenient, efficient way for the student to earn multiple prerequisites, as opposed to the individual credit course, which is more of a targeted, just I'll take that one. For this, it's multiple credits at one time, earning over kind of a condensed period of 8 sessions. The program length, so 8 sessions, 32 weeks, that's online and in school. We have a 24-week program option with an accelerated schedule at our program in New Delhi. A program requirement, so a lot of what you saw before, as I mentioned, they must have graduated high school from their home country, and they must be 17 years old by the end of December of the year that they register. They have to complete a PROLA. Again, we do have that entry language level of I3. And then session start dates. This program is available on the first Monday of each session. I'll talk briefly about the program inclusions, and while I'm doing that, I'll try to multitask here and send you all the link in the chat to the Fast Track program course. So the Fast Track program course details, the full package inclusions will be listed on the site through the flyers that are available in the landing page that I will send here. But just to highlight, this program is all about post-secondary goals and achieving that for the student. So the student receives within the package counseling. So it's a combination of counseling. There's counseling through the team at TVO. There's counseling through the UPath team at ILSC Vancouver, and there's support provided to students on their admissions and application process. That's part of the inclusions within any of the ILSC high school program package programs, and certainly that applies to the Fast Track to Higher Education program. So I've sent that link there, and again, that will take you. That may be the general one. This will take you directly and provide more information on the Fast Track to Higher Education courses. I believe we'll take a look at sample course bundles. So as I mentioned, with Fast Track to Higher Education, we're looking at 6 credits. So I'll give you kind of a sample of the types of courses that a student might take. I mentioned 2 student profiles. We'll look at the student that is university bound. Potentially they're looking at either an engineering or let's say a nursing program. So what we've done is we've collaborated with the team at TVO, and we've looked at some of the top institutions in Canada to look at the prerequisites associated with these areas, these fields of study. And you'll see there is some crossover between the courses. You'll see some similar courses in both lists. So this is a sample of the courses that a student may require if they're targeting one of these fields of study. We'll talk about registration in a moment. For those of you who are familiar in supporting students in registration through ILSC, this might be a little concerning. How am I supposed to know what credit courses to take? The process is done very collaboratively at the registration side of things between the registrar at ILSC, the university pathway team, and the expertise team at TVO ILC. So it is a very collaborative process as we determine the student's goal, what the student has, potentially through an analysis of their transcript. Then we can figure out together what they need at the time of registration when the student is looking for, I know I want Fast Track, what specific courses do I need to make sure I have? So that's a very supportive process. The schedule here that we're looking at is the in-school schedule for the Fast Track program. Just to highlight that this is just the part-time tuition schedule, just in the morning, with more dedicated time to focus on that self-directed study for TVO. And once again, we do recommend that the student maintains the schedule for in-school. This will be the schedule that they'll maintain with the facilitator in the classroom with them providing that support. Just a quick note on the seamless entry. So some of you may be familiar with our university pathway programs. Through our university pathway programs, we have over 60 partners in Canada, over 50 partners in Australia, and I believe as well over 50 partners in the US. Those are partner institutions that recognize are language equivalency. So if a student has completed this the university pathway course and achieved the kind of prescribed level through our partnership with the institution, that means that they recognize the language requirements, that the student will meet the language requirements set out by that partner institution. Again, as I said at the top, this becomes kind of a one-stop shop for your students, where in addition to meeting the language requirements, they get to meet the additional requirements, whether it be a math or specifically a calculus and vectors or some of the courses that we were looking at the previous list. So seamless entry can also be applied to programs where students are studying outside of Canada. Let's say a student is studying at an ILSC high school program at New Delhi. A student can still add seamless entry simply by adding 2 sessions at our full-time intensive schedule, either online or in Canada. And we'll look quickly at the foundation year program. So this one is a very specific audience member. The student, again, is in their final year of high school in their home country, in their last year of high school in their home country, and they are looking to achieve the OSSD, that's the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Again, this is a sort of diploma pathway that has not previously existed, and it is now a way that we can support students. This opens up students to a broad range of opportunities when they're looking at pathway opportunities. If you have a student who is focused on a post-secondary institution in either Canada or Australia, having them set up through this diploma pathway to achieve the Ontario Secondary School Diploma will open up opportunities for them in a way that's really unique here. So that, again, is the foundation year program available to students in their final year of high school in their home country. This is a longer term program. It's a 10-session program, and students will, through that program, complete 8 credit courses. The registration process, very supported, involves a review of the student's transcript, and I'll talk about that in a quick second here. So again, it's a 40-week program, so that's just 10 sessions, either online or in school. We have again, an accelerated schedule available to our students attending ILSC New Delhi. Program requirements, so they must be in the last year of high school in their home country. They must complete the PROLA and have an I3 entry language level. Of course, if a student does not have the I3 level for any of these courses, we can support, and they can take language study in advance to get to that level before transitioning into their ILSC high school program. They must submit a current transcript. As I was saying, we need to know what they've completed, and it's great to know where they're headed, kind of what their ambitions are. If the student is looking at potentially like a, let's say, an engineering program, that can really help and guide in us determining with our partners at TVO what the student needs, what they need to complete to meet those goals. And that original transcript assessment, which is completed, so we do require a high school transcript when a student applies for the foundation year program, is called the Prior Learning Assessment of Recognition, or PLAR. So that's the transcript assessment that is completed in order to determine what courses the student might need to complete or will need to earn their OSSD, or their Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Additionally, the province of Ontario does have community involvement requirements. Overall, it's 40 hours, but it's traditionally kind of 10 per year. So the student will have to complete community involvement activities. And again, that's a supported process through a form that students can use. If a student is in school, that is something that we support through our community, our CSR activities is something that we can support on. And if a student is online in their home country, again, we provide more information on what kind of volunteer activities they can participate in to complete these this requirement. Session start dates, again, 13 Mondays a year. They can choose the starting week of any session to start their foundation year program, either inline or online or in school. The application process I talked about quickly. I just one more time on the questions. Thank you so much to Natsuko To. I see your question here and we'll be addressing it here in just a second. Anyone else? We've got probably about another couple of minutes here before we move into the questions. So it's a great time if something's been on your mind to take a second and put that into the chat box if you wish. I talked about the application process. It's a very familiar process, or it's a very similar to the current ILSC application process. There's the application form you can access through our website. We require passport, national ID, specifically for the foundation year program, as well as our fast track program. So these are the package programs where students are earning multiple credits at an accelerated schedule. Transcripts are required, so we do need a copy of either an English or translated transcript. There is a confidentiality form, which is an addition from our partners from TVO that our registrations team will provide. And then it's just the application form. Now, the course selection process, as I mentioned, is a collaborative process that is done with knowledge from either the student or agent about where the student wants to go, what kind of their performance might have been, their transcript in their high school programs, and then we collaboratively with our partners at TVO determine the courses that that student will require. So that is it. Just before I move into questions, I'll ask the panelists here if there's anything additional, Ivan or Roger, that you wanted to add?
No, I just wanted to build a little bit, Andrew, on the
please.
way in which we support our students. So one of the things that is unique to the program is that each student receives a customized course completion plan that has the milestones. It tells them what success looks like and it defines it. And in the different roles that we play on the ILC, TVO ILC side, we provide the academic support to help the student consume the curriculum and be successful in their learning outcomes. ILSC provides the facilitator support that allows the student to administer the delivery of the course. So the bringing together of these two great services is really where the value proposition is for all students, because as it was alluded to, it's independent but not alone. And I think that's really key for people to take away, that it's the best of a hybrid learning environment. And we have been leaders in the digital space quite candidly long before the pandemic came around. And one of the really unique positions that we've been in is that, given the uniqueness of our model and the way in which we support students in this relationship and collaboration with ILSC, we are somewhat unique in the market.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for adding on that and building on that, Roger. I think that's a great way to kind of paint that picture and the support that we provide, and then kind of your place within kind of the online sphere. We have the facility. Thank you so much, Ivan. A really, really good reminder point here. So first, I'm going to go to Natsuko. Natsuko asks, in school study for credit courses, do some of the students study in one room using their own computer, headphone, earphone? Yes. So that's, and the facilitator is monitoring in the classroom. For in the in-school model, let's imagine the schedule again has the students studying at an ILSC. They'll be doing their English for academic purposes course in the morning, let's say. Following a little bit of a lunch break, they'll move into a dedicated study time that is students with, exactly as you described, with their own computer, headphones, working away on the self-directed study through the TVO portal. And then the facilitator is there within the classroom, kind of moving around in the way that a teacher would, but providing that administrative support and ensuring that that course completion plan is clear and that the students are working through that course completion plan. In addition to the student portal, of course, there is a facilitator portal. And I was saying at our previous webinar, when we first got access to the facilitator portal, I was addicted, because with the facilitator access, you can track the progress of the student, and it's really quite clean. So again, I strongly encourage you to take a look at the student portal experience video that I shared in the chat. It's also on our ILSC TV channel. The portal allows the facilitator to quite clearly see the student's progress through the assessments. And each course is made up of roughly 8 to 10 assessments. That's been my assessment of it so far, gentlemen. So I don't know, there might be some variation on that, but roughly it seemed to be 8 to 10 assessments as well as a final test. And you get to see as a student is kind of working their way through each assessment, and you get this little bar that shows you what their progress has been through that course. And it's just a really clear way for the facilitator to be able to track the student's progress and celebrate their success. So the facilitator login and access on the portal is a really interesting function, and a great, easy way for the facilitators to support. Any other questions? I think I don't see any other questions in the box here. So I will add, I'll give us another minute here. So if there's any final questions, if you want to add it in the box, I'm just going to take this minute one more time. A big thank you to everyone for spending your time with us today. You will be receiving the presentation as well as access to my contacts. Any questions at all? I know there's a lot to take in with these programs. So as you've had some chance to kind of take it in and digest, questions will come. And I just want to say that, of course, I'm here to support. So you'll have that email for the program directly, which is ILSC High School Program at High School Program at ilsceducation.com. It'll be in the webinar follow-up, so no need to write that down. And that's direct to me. So any questions you have, let us know. And finally, once again, Roger and Ivan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here with us today. It's really great to collaborate with you in this manner.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to work with you and your team.
Awesome. Great. Well, that is it. I don't see any other questions. So thank you again to everyone for your attendance today. I'm imagining that we've got a lot of people who started their day with us here. So thank you and have a great day. And thanks again to Ivan and Roger. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.